Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mario Pedro Gould, and you are now tuned into the Alpha Success Television Network. As always, we are here to impart onto you empowering, uplifting, and transformative information as it pertains to the arenas of successful living. And I'm feeling like in a playful mode today, so I'm going to impart to you information with the fun aspect of it. Maybe I'm going to use a fun story. It's about time I use a fun story. I haven't used a fun story in a long time. You see, I learned a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen, that majority of time when I learned the most information and I retained it was when I learned it in a fun atmosphere. So, that is what we're going to engage in today. But I do encourage you to not get lost in the fun aspect of my story. I encourage you to exercise some critical thinking and sort out from the fun the most important aspect of the information that I have here for you today. It's going to lift you up one step closer to your promised land of milk and honey. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Last week, we had a very, very exciting conversation about the importance of changing the image that you have for yourself to match the image of the person who is capable of achieving the dreams that you have set for yourself. There's a lot of ways to measure success, but for simplicity's sake, I had used relational and financial. So if you want to be financially successful, there's a certain image that you have to have of yourself before you can attract the success. Most of us, however, do not have that image. So there's a gap between the image that you presently have and the image that you need to have in order to attract the success. Same thing with the relational aspect. You want to attract a certain woman in your life, or you want to attract a certain type of relationship. There's a certain image that you have of yourself, which is not incongruent with the image that you need to have in order to attract the relationship that you desire. How do we close this gap, Mario? How do we close this gap? I have a low self-image. I want to have a high self-image. How do we close this gap? This is a beautiful, beautiful question because it has been, I would say, a big part of my work, over the past 7 years of really, really transforming the image that I have of myself, how I view myself. One tool that I used to use a long time ago and I put aside for a little bit was the tools of affirmation. Affirmation is, if you haven't been exposed to affirmation is what you say to yourself. Your words that come out, and also the thoughts that you think of yourself are an affirmation. So you might be saying that I want to be successful, but I am not educated. That is an affirmation. I want to be successful, but I am not confident enough. That is an affirmation. Okay? Now you may not say the words, but you may be looking at somebody that you want to approach, and in your head, you don't say anything, but in your head you're saying, oh, she's not going to like me. I'm too fearful. I'm too short. I'm too poor. These are affirmations that you're saying in your head. So for me recently, I was drawn to picking up the tools of affirmation once again. Before I go to bed and as soon as I get up in the morning, I use them. And I've had some relative interesting experience with them, and I'd like to share them here with you through a fun story that I had just the other day. And we'll see how you can take the parallels from this into your own life. So one specific morning, I spent a considerable amount of time, might have been about an hour. I was listening to an affirmation by a lady called Louise Hay. She wrote a book called Heal Your Life. I highly recommend it. She really talks about self-love. And the affirmation that was being used was something along the lines of, I am bold, I am brave, I am beautiful. I am bold, I am brave, I am beautiful. I am bold, I am brave, I'm beautiful. I am bold, I am brave, I'm beautiful. I loved it. And the interesting thing was that when I was listening to the affirmation, I was lying down and I just let it play in my computer. And I had doubts in my head when I was listening to the affirmation. You know what I'm saying? I had doubts in my head as I was listening to the affirmation. But I didn't judge the doubts that were going on. I just let the tape play. I let the tape play. Now I thought about it later. What were these doubts that I was having in my head? Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important for you to grasp. The doubts that I was having in my head is a reflection of the conversations that repeat themselves in your head unless you check them. You see, once you leave your doorstep, majority of the conversation in the outside world, ladies and gentlemen, is of a negative type. And you can't control it. It's very subtle. Sometimes it's overt. It's right in your face. But majority of people that you meet, majority of environments that you will encounter during a day-to-day period is normally disempowering. And therefore, you end up programming yourself unconsciously with negative conversations. And that's where fear comes from. So these doubts were arising because of the continuous train of thought of negative conversations that are going on in my head. And when I played that affirmation tape, it was bringing in something new, and my body wasn't used to it. It was bringing in something new. So I stayed with the process. I am bold, I am beautiful, I am brave. And, I turned it off and I decided to go to the gym. And this is the interesting thing that happened to me, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where it gets really funny, but pick up the lessons. So I go on a treadmill. I'm doing my 28-minute treadmill warm-up. No, it was 35. I was doing my 35-minute Sunday session of cardio, burning someone else fat out. And I was doing it 35 minutes, and behold, in front of my eyes downstairs, I seen two very beautiful ladies, very fit, dressed well for the occasion of the gym. They were bubbly, they were excited, they were looking at themselves in the mirror, they were having a good time, they were working out, and I found their energy very, very, very attractive. And I'm walking here on a treadmill, my 35 minutes, I'm walking on a treadmill, and I asked myself a very interesting question, okay? Before I tell you the question, for me, ladies and gentlemen, I measure my amount of self-confidence. A good barometer for the self-image that I have for myself is reflected in my ability to have enriching relationships with members of the opposite sex. I love to have female friends around me. I love to engage with them. I love to conversate with them. I love to interact with them because I'm a very masculine male, and the feminine energy usually balances me out. So I usually measure my confidence by how I interact with women, and I also usually measure my confidence by how I perform in business. So this was an opportunity for me to measure my confidence and see the self-image that I had of myself. And I asked myself a question. Mario, these are two people that, you really want to meet, you want to have a friendship with, you want to get to know. And the question that I had for myself was, what is the most bold thing that I can do? What is the most bold thing that I can do? And the weird thing was that as soon as I asked this question, ladies and gentlemen, as I was walking on the treadmill, the affirmations that I was listening into in the morning started playing in my head. I am bold, I am brave, I'm beautiful. I am bold, I am brave, I'm beautiful. I am bold and brave and I'm beautiful. And I was like, what are you going to go and tell them, Mario? What are you going to talk about? I didn't care what I was going to talk about. I knew the tape that was playing in my head. The tape that was playing in my head was I am bold, I am brave, and I am beautiful. And as soon as I finished my 35-minute session, I walked down the stairs, I walked straight to these two ladies, and I engaged with them in a dialogue. Had some fun, had some beautiful conversations. I challenged them to do some push-ups. We did some push-ups together. We gave each other the high fives. You know what I'm saying? And it was a beautiful outcome. And I walked away. And you know what? They're never gonna forget me, ever. So next time I see them, they're gonna come up and say, "What's up?" So yeah, this is it's I'm in my joking mode right now. I'm in my joking mode, but I want you to pick up the key lessons. The key lesson for me was, even though I'm in my joking mode, I was actually using that as an experiment for me to learn how I can improve my self-image, how I can improve my confidence. And on this specific day, I discovered a clear, ladies and gentlemen, a clear correlation between the image that I had of myself that morning and the actions that I took. And the image that I had of myself that morning had a very strong relation to the material that I had fed my brain in the morning, which was I am bold, I am brave, I am beautiful. The affirmations that I had given myself. So this was my story. What is your story? What is it that you want to accomplish in your life? I use the relationship example because these are things that jars me. For you, it could be financial, or whatever yardstick you use to measure your success. What is it that you need to do with your self-image? What are the changes that you need to make with your self-image? Okay, be very clear about the image you need to have and the image you have today, and create, ladies and gentlemen, create some empowering conversations, aka affirmations, which you can program into your mind. Because if you don't put positive information into your mind, ladies and gentlemen, majority of the time, the tape that is playing in your mind is one of a negative nature. And the truth is, you don't even know it until you're encountered in a situation whereby, you want to pursue something. And the moment you want to pursue it, you notice, fear stops you. It's okay to have fear. It's a problem to have fear stop you. Okay? So you want to put the right messages in your head. The right affirmations. Say it in your head, I am bold, I am brave, I am beautiful. And therefore, when you're in an encounter whereby you feel fear, it's okay, you'll feel the fear. But you're going to tell yourself, you're courageous, you're confident, you're brave, you're bold, you believe in yourself. Nothing can stop you. You are unstoppable. Therefore, you're going to go for your dreams. Adios!